Hello and welcome to another fantasy mock draft on the channel. I'm joined with my younger brother Carson once again, and today we'll be picking from the 5 spot and the 11 spot respectively. We've got a traditional PPR league of 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a flex, and you'll notice no kickers or defenses on this lineup, and that's because they're just not fun. You know, the reality is we like to see points scored, not worry about points allowed. So, with that being said, we're going to jump in here pretty quickly, but before I do, if you are a returning viewer, go ahead and subscribe if you're not already. I mean, 99% of you are not, and so what's up with that? All right, well, we'll go ahead and jump in now.
All right. Let us see. I was about to say, you're going to get Jamar Chase.
Yeah, this pretty much fell exactly how I expected. To some degree, those 4 players going in the first 4 is not at all surprising. I'll be grabbing Travis Kelce here to grab that positional edge. And let's see what happens at pick 11.
Yeah, I like that pick. I mean, you saw yesterday I drafted him as early as the 4, and I think that's fine. Okay. Can't say I love what I've been left with. I mean, these are all great options, of course, but, like, not the elite guys that I was looking for. I think I'm going to go with Stephon Diggs. Yeah, I haven't had him in any mock drafts, really.
Yeah, he's a strong option.
And then... yeah, I'm going to see what happens if I just go double wide receiver this draft and see how I feel, so I'm going to go A.J. Brown.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, what is your take, real quick, on what's going on with Jonathan Taylor?
I think he's more likely than not going to make it back to the team in time for the season to start. I think that where he's going in drafts is certainly a value right now, and we'll see. Obviously, this is a little bit before when you really should be drafting for your official league, of course. But yeah, I think that by the time, I mean, if September rolls around and he is, like, not even in the continent of the North America, like, I think that's a concern. But I think he's going to report, and similarly with Josh Jacobs, I think the same thing. He actually has some real financial, we'll say, disincentives to miss games. It's like $500,000 per game that he would be paying in fines for not attending. So
wow,
I think both of those players end up playing for their team. I don't think Jonathan Taylor's getting traded, but I think he does deserve to get paid. He's the best player on that roster, and that's how I feel personally. But it's not my money to play with. So
very true.
Either way, I like that Garrett Wilson has made it back to me here. Although, looking ahead, I definitely like Garrett Wilson more than the running back or the wide receivers that are left to me in the next pick. So I'm going to grab him now here.
Yeah, strong start of pass catchers.
Team 2 and 3 locking in their starting running backs. Those are some dangerous opponents, I must say. Now, Ramondre Stevenson is here, and honestly, the Ezekiel Elliott news has kind of taken some wind out of his sails, so to speak, going into this season. We should have known better that Bill Belichick wasn't going to pick up a veteran running back when there were so many available this offseason. But with that being said, I think that, let's see, what do we got going on the way back? I'm probably more comfortable with the wide receivers in that range, so I will grab Ramondre Stevenson with my selection here.
Yeah, it's still hard to pass him up, though, at that spot.
Yeah, and I won't be surprised. And I won't be surprised if he gets vultured at the goal line. We'll say pretty often this season. But this is a PPR league, and that is something that Ezekiel Elliott does not have a lot of ability in at this stage in his career. So, kind of hedging our bets here with that selection.
That is fair. Okay. I believe I am going to go with Joe Mixon. I think it's good value getting him here.
Yeah,
And
I like
then,
Jackson.
let's see. Honestly, this is like the zone of like players where just a season or two ago couldn't believe getting them here, Najee and Aaron Jones. But do I really want to go for either of them right now? I think I'll wait a little bit longer. And, you know, I think I want to stack out my pass catchers and go Calvin Ridley here.
I do like that selection for sure.
Yeah. Could have gone a quarterback too. There were actually decent options all across the positions, honestly. But, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So I've got, speaking of, considering Justin Fields or Justin Herbert here with my next selection. Although I would be completely fine with getting Trevor Lawrence on the way back if both of those others were taken. So I think what I'm actually going to do here is grab my second receiver, and between DeAndre Hopkins and Terry McLaurin, I'm going to, I think what I want to do here is probably, and I'm stalling for time here because I'm thinking, I just saw DJ Moore a little bit further down the board and Jerry Jeudy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I've kind of got a tough call here. I think what I'm going to ultimately go with is I'm going to take the quarterback, and because of the rushing upside, and then we'll see what falls to me on the way around. Kind of let the computer make the decision for me.
Yeah. You got one of each position. I feel like that's kind of a rare start, but it looks good.
Yeah, it is definitely an uncommon start for me, especially. But that's kind of what happens usually when I do take Kelsey in the first round. I kind of spread out my options and don't load in on one position.
Yeah.
Okay, so with DJ Moore left, that stacks with Justin Fields, and hey, can't hurt it.
That.
He looked pretty good in preseason, so.
I like it. Oh, my guy, Madison. You know how much I love him?
Right before you, yep.
I am going to get Trevor Lawrence and stack him with Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, I think that's a no-brainer selection. Very fortunate to have him fall to the board for you.
Kamara and Swift going next kind of hurts, and I don't really want Goddard since I have A.J. Brown. Not that I can't get him, but I'm just looking around here. I believe I am going to go... Let's see. Yeah, I'm probably going to go running back here, and I think I'm going to go Cam Akers. So I was talking last round about running backs where just a season or two ago couldn't believe getting him here, and I got kind of one of those guys later on. So you're just hoping for a return to form for the previous value.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so now looking at my options here, James Conner is the best available running back in this range. If I wait on him, I'm kind of missing out on what I would feel most comfortable taking here. So I will grab him right now in the 6th as my second running back, and then we'll see what comes back to the 7th. I have a feeling that, I'm happy with really, especially these top three, Mike Williams, Christian Kirk, and JSN. I think for the sake of upside, I'm kind of picking more between... Mike Williams is a scary player in fantasy when he is very volatile. One week he'll score 25, the next week he'll score 5. And I think Christian Kirk definitely takes a step back after the addition of Calvin Ridley, and possibly even the emergence of Evan Ingram late in his career. JSN probably has the least value early season, but by the end of the year, he could be the most valuable player of these three, just because of that rookie upside. So I think that we're going to swing for it all and go with JSN.
Yeah, it was kind of what trajectory do you want to hitch a ride onto is kind of what it turned out to be. Okay. I do really feel like I should go tight end here. Yeah. I don't. Evan Ingram's looking at me, but I already got T-Law and Calvin Ridley, so I don't love that. So I might just.
That's a premium stack.
But 3? Really going all in.
Hey, if you believe in your quarterback, you should believe in his pass catchers.
All right, I don't know if you're coercing me, but it's giving me confidence, so here we go.
Yeah, what an idiot.
Yeah.
I honestly, like, I mean, I can make an argument for Freiermuth over Ingram for a consistency standpoint.
Yeah.
But you've gotten to the range of tight ends where you don't exactly feel great leaving the draft with any of them. So, at least in my opinion. So I think
that's true.
I think at least the correlated bet on the Jaguars offense is more beneficial than taking a flyer on a one-off on the Steelers.
Yeah. All right, I went pass catcher heavy early on in this draft, so, I mean, I see good wide receiver options, but realistically they're not looking to really make my lineup unless any of my starters get injured. So I'm just going to add more running back depth because I didn't give myself an amazing duo, and I'm going to get Antonio Gibson.
I think that's fair. I would like to ask kind of your rationale for kind of jumping Cook over Gibson.
I just need to see it with Cook, and I know that they added Damian Harris, so it's just another mouth to feed in that not very rush-happy offense. But I know that he's getting receiving work. I need to see that more consistently. And I have Stephon Diggs, so I don't know if that's really the route I want my running back to be going, is the same team as my best pass catcher to hope he gets receiving work too.
Okay, well that's an interesting perspective, and I don't necessarily disagree.
Yeah. I mean, he had a fairly underwhelming rookie season, but I mean that's not the greatest offense for a rookie running back.
Yeah, exactly, and I think honestly the tiebreaker for me would be just the overall quality of the offense.
Sure.
Kind of hitching my wagon to Buffalo rather than Washington, but I understand where you're coming from with your thought process there. For my next selection here, I'm looking at who I've got and who I can pick next. So Brian Robinson in a full PPR format, I'm not really that high on. Jamal Williams has early season value, but I've already got 2 running backs that should be very, very strong options, so I'm okay with waiting on him. I may be able to scoop him up on my next pick. So what I'm going to do here is grab Brandon Cooks as my 4th wide receiver, and I think the expectation there is that he kind of returns to form with Dallas. Obviously an upgraded quarterback, a pretty severe upgraded quarterback. I know people like to hate on Dak Prescott, but I think Brandon Cooks will more likely than not return to a 1,000-yard receiver and kind of return very good value here in the 8th round.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so
Dak
looking
Prescott's a little bit better than Davis Mills.
Yeah, just a little.
Hot take.
Yeah. So, okay, Brian Robinson again, not really feeling that too much. Rashad Penny, kind of similar thing here there. Honestly, I'm tempted to go Zach Charbonnet or Khalil Herbert. Charbonnet has a lot of upside if Ken Walker misses time, which we've already been seeing both of those backs dealing with injury during the preseason. Khalil Herbert could be the starter, and that would link up with my Chicago stack already. I'm a little torn. Carson, what would you say between those 2 backs? Who do you like more?
Repeat the backs and looking at my next picks, honestly. Who are the running backs?
Okay, that's okay. Zach Charbonnet or Khalil Herbert?
Oof. I'd probably lean Khalil Herbert for just reasons we've talked about in the past. If when he does have that starting role, we know what he looks like, so you can hope for that. Whereas realistically, my understanding, I mean, Zach Charbonnet is not going to become the RB1 in that offense because of Ken Walker. It's hard for me to know how involved he's going to be, whereas with Khalil Herbert, if he does get that starting nod, we know that he's going to be fairly decent.
Yeah, it's a tough call either way. And honestly, I think what I'm going to decide it on here is Khalil Herbert probably has the more defined role than Charbonnet, and I'm going to go with him for that reason.
Yeah. Dang it, I was really hoping Zach Charbonnet would fall to me. I'm kidding.
Hey, it would have been a good pick.
I did notice, though, that Ken Walker's 5'9", and Charbonnet's 6'1", so that could be a goal line threat. But, I don't know if I want to be banking on that for, you taking him as your third running back. Okay, let's see here. I am going to go with my guy, Cortland Sutton. And then, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to go just give myself more, because I really, really like my pass catchers, and I feel pretty good as Cortland Sutton be my first depth option there. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get...
Is this a back-to-back Denver pick?
No, it's not. It's going to be
Okay.
Devon A-Chain.
Okay, that's fair. I think A-Chain has a lot more... I think A-Chain has a lot more upside than P. Ryan, so I commend you for that selection there.
Thank you.
And I think that those veteran running backs that are free agents, there was a lot of buzz that one of them was going to end up in Miami, and maybe it's Leonard Fournette in the future here, but it's looking like it's going to be wide open for A-Chain to rise up that depth chart and
with them
really
having
become a steal.
Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert, I'd be surprised if they go for another guy of that kind of profile. I mean, they got by of those two, and now they got a rookie. Why would they add a fourth mouth to feed? I don't know. It's just, I would not. It would be bad for A-Chain's value, of course, but we're hoping that wouldn't happen.
For sure. Yeah, so here I'm looking to grab Jerick McKinnon as just a PPR back here. He's still with the Chiefs, and he provided tremendous value late in the season last year. And I'm actually going to go back-to-back Kansas City players here and pick up Sky Moore as my fifth wide receiver here. Similar reasoning. Obviously, lots of upside in that receiving room. I have Travis Kelce, so there's a bit of a stack there. But obviously, I believe in the Kansas City offense, so I think that Sky Moore could become that wide receiver one, very realistically.
Fair enough. Okay, let's see here. I'm just going to hope I get both of them. Ooh, do I go double rookie? Maybe I'd do double rookie. That might be fun. I might go Jalen Hyatt. And then Jonathan Mingo.
I like both those picks. A lot of upside there with those rookie receivers.
Yep. My last three picks have been rookies. There you go.
Okay. It's that stage of the draft where you start taking swings. All right, so I am going to grab... Oh, okay. So I don't... Typically, if I draft Ezekiel Elliott, I don't have Ramondre Stevenson. I don't really want to give myself that headache of having to decide. Okay, so in the past I've had backfields where like Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt were both on my roster, and the trouble with that is deciding who to play week in and week out, and if you're wrong, you end up just kicking yourself for the whole next week. So I'd like to avoid that situation. There was a point in time last year where I had Rachaad White and Leonard Fournette. I ended up trading both of them in a package deal because I just didn't want to deal with that decision. And I think that for that reason, I'm probably going to pass on him here and look for someone with a little bit more upside.
Get Deontay Foreman to pair up with Khalil Herbert.
No, I realized as I was scrolling that my entire running back room, all their handcuffs or teammates are right here looking at me. I'm kind of torn here. This is a tough spot to kind of be drafting from, I feel.
Yeah.
I think what I'm going to end up doing, honestly, I may just take the bet on the other side that A-Chain doesn't get the starting nod, and I'm going to go Mostert.
Well, at least you don't have to worry about starting A-Chain or Mostert, I guess, in that reality. Because you don't have both. It's funny.
Okay, and then with this pick, I'm going to go Rondale Moore. Obviously, Kyler Murray not fully healthy as of yet, but he has a pretty solid role in that offense as it is. And I think that with the departure of DeAndre Hopkins, that kind of opens up opportunity for, vacated targets to Marquise Brown, Rondale Moore, the likes.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. My guy Justin Ross is looking at me. But I think I'm going to go... how many wide receivers do I have? 6. Yeah, I'll get Michael Gallup, my guy. And then... Oh, Justin Ross! And then let's just round it out with Kareem Hunt. Because if he goes to Miami, I guess... Oh, you said it was Fournette. But whatever. I'm still going to go Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, most recently, I think, meeting with the Minnesota Vikings. So
yeah.
That would be an interesting addition, given what we expect from Alexander Mattison this season.
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay, so I could take Jeff Wilson and kind of round out my Miami backfield. Not looking to do that.
Your boy, John Mechie.
Deuce Vaughn behind... I'm actually leaning more towards, just on the subject of Houston receivers, I'm leaning more towards Tank Dell based on what we saw in preseason. I know that that's kind of how that hype works, but
yeah,
he looked good in the preseason. And if I were to grab a final wide receiver here, it would be Tank Dell, and I'm kind of picking between him. I mean, Deuce Vaughn is just so small, but I think he runs with a lot of heart. Let me see. He's 5'6", 176, Carson.
Oh my gosh.
So, and he's the son of one of the guys on the coaching staff in Dallas.
He's the son of Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, that's who it is. Anyway, I think I'm just gonna. I don't see realistically a role for Deuce Vaughn on my fantasy team. Hot take there. I think, honestly, I see KJ Osborne here, but I think that it's really only a matter of time before Jordan Addison takes that number 2 role in Minnesota. Yeah. So I'm gonna take a bet on Houston and their kind of lack of receiving room, and Tank Dell has an opportunity there, a better opportunity, I'll say, to kind of rise up the depth chart.
Fair enough.
All right, so I'm going to drop this down, and we will get into our review stage.
Yes.
So I'll go first here. I got, for my running back room, Ramondre Stevenson, James Conner, Khalil Herbert, Jerick McKinnon, and Raheem Mostert. I've got a good mix of... all of these guys catch passes, which I love in a PPR league. And so, honestly, I feel really comfortable with this group. With receivers, I've got Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Brandon Cooks, Sky Moore, Rondale Moore, and Tank Dell. I've got good upside lower in my bench and lots of upside, new faces, new places. Honestly, between the rookie JSN, Brandon Cooks, DJ Moore, and Garrett Wilson, they've all had, we'll say, probably positive changes to their situation.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of upside. Justin Fields is my quarterback. Travis Kelce is my tight end. I love both of those options as kind of differentiators at their position, with Fields rushing and Kelce's dominance in general. And we can move on to your side.
Nice. You really got all the Moores. I kind of didn't realize that while we were drafting. That's really funny.
I did miss Elijah Moore.
So dang it!
It wasn't a full Moore.
You'd be looking for trading for him. Okay, so with my team, looking over it, I'm happy with how my running backs ended up, given the fact that I started with 2 wide receivers. And the 2 wide receivers I started at very strong: Stephon Diggs, A.J. Brown, Calvin Ridley, my flex, paired him with Trevor Lawrence, and Evan Ingram at my tight end. And then I got kind of some I think good value running backs: Joe Mixon and Cam Akers. Like I said, just a season or two ago, saying I picked them in the 3rd and 6th round respectively, you'd be like, what? And now we type them on my bench, and it's kind of the similar thing. Antonio Gibson and Cortland Sutton, they kind of have that similar profile of being higher value before, and I kind of like their new situations. I think it's improving. No more J.D. McKissick. Hopefully Gibson will be consistent in PPR leagues. Cortland Sutton, you have to think that Broncos offense can only be better than last season, so I like him as a wide receiver too in that offense. And then win some rookies: Devon Achane for running back depth, Jalen Hyatt, Jonathan Mingo for wide receivers, and then my guy Michael Gallup, still a good offense. He could go past Brandon Cooks if he doesn't have in the tank, and if not, he's just the clear wide receiver 3, will be out on the field. And then round it off with Kareem Hunt, which will be great value in the 14th round, depending on where he goes.
Yeah, and before we sign off, I do want to kind of ask just really quickly, since we briefly mentioned it with Dalvin Cook signing. You went Akers ahead of Cook in this draft, and I kind of want to get your thoughts on that. I think I know why the reason is, but go ahead and explain it to the people.
I think it's just the clear RB1, and since I waited long on running backs, I wanted my RB2 to have that role.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, it's a similar situation to what we were describing earlier with my backfield with taking Stevenson. There's a stage in this draft where, I mean, I think Breece Hall going into the 3rd round is too early, especially coming off of the ACL injury. Dalvin Cook is going to be more valuable early season, and then it's going to become a guessing game. Once Breece Hall is fully healthy, it's going to become that really challenging situation I was describing before, where fantasy managers have to kind of decide, is this the week that blank goes off? So
True. Would you have taken Cook ahead of Connor if they were both on the board for you?
No, I wouldn't have, for similar reasons. The idea of taking...
because you would have had both of those guys on your roster.
Yeah, the idea of taking Stevenson and Cook and having that kind of conflict, I think, would have been too much to bear.
Yeah.
So it probably would have been a situation I would have looked to trade out of if given the option. So, yeah. With that being said, hope you all enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will be back very soon.
Peace out, everybody.